Well, blessed Sunday. I hope yours is coming up well. Thank you so much for always keeping it TV47. And from Sifa Sunday, it is now time to update you on what is in the world of news. Karibu, my name is Linda Alela, and the broadcast is News Now. President William Ruto is still in the Mount Kenya region Sunday, joining in Christians faithfuls for a church service that is in Lare, Meru County. The head of state has been accompanied by Kenya Kwanza leaders, among them Meru local leaders. Let's cross over there and listen in.
The bill nimeweka bunge ni moja ya kutoa mila, which wanajua kuna hii chemical inaitwa cathinone and cathine, kutoa hizo chemicals katika classification. Na bill yangu next week itasoma first reading ya kuamend narcotics, drugs and physicotropic substances. Kuamend ndio tutoe mila katika hii category ya wanaisema ni mandao. Ingine rais, mimi nimepigana na pia Ministry of Transport. Sababu kuna jamaa moja akiingia kwa SGR aliharakishwa kashikwa sababu amebeba miraa ya kwenda kukulia Mombasa. Na mimi nikaita waziri akakuja na wakasema wamerekebisha hiyo maneno, hawatakuwa wanauliza watu wanakula miraa. Na nikasuggest kama itawezekana hiyo SGR, sababu pia tulilipa tax ya kufanya hiyo biashara, hata sisi wa Meru tuwekewe kama kochi mbili. Wengine wale wataki miraa, sisi tuwekewe kochi yetu kwa hiyo SGR. Ndio tuweze tunaendelea kukula tu. Kama unaenda Mombasa weka kochi yako. Lakini pia shida rais iko kwa Kenya Airways. Kenya Airways hata ukishikwa na one tweak lazima wewe uachwe nyuma siku hiyo. Kwa hivyo rais, hii miraa kweli kwani iko na madhambi namna hii? Na mimi naonanga hata ukikuja unashika kibunda, naona hata wewe siku moja unaweka hapa kidogo kwa mdomo. Kwa hivyo hii miraa mimi naona ni watu wanaweka fitina. Na rais ongea na president wa Somalia, sababu pale amekubali mzigo kidogo ile miraa inafika Somalia. Tafadhali ongea naye because he is Wambandi, at least aongeze some tonnage ndio miraa yetu iweze kufika huko vizuri. Vile vile wale wanapeleka miraa huko ni watu hata hawajulikani. Taitumu, my friend Kere, ukijaribu kujua ni akina nani wao wanapakia hiyo miraa kwa ndege, hakuna Mumeru labda ama kwa labda mmoja ama hakuna kabisa. Kwa hivyo hiyo biashara kule bonto beto kule Ameru ba wiche miraa Somalia, miraa EU baraba ige majority si watu ya hapa, na wabiashara wamejaribu lakini inakuwa ngumu. Pia DRC ukiweza kutufungulia itakuwa kitu mzuri. Mimi vile ningependa kusema sasa nikiwa senator wa Meru. Unajua Senate hiyo ndio inachunga.
Well, we'll certainly be bringing to you more updates on that visit by the president. But away from it, opposition leader Raila Odinga has condemned the national government over depriving funds from the counties. Raila, speaking at Magena Town in Bomachoge Chache constituency, has urged the Kenya Kwanza government not to intimidate the county governments and provide them with funds like those for affordable housing. Roads constructions for this are all considered to be county functions. Raila is expected to visit several other areas, of course, including that attending a church service in Ichuni Parish and later attend a funeral or a fundraising at Omobera Boarding Primary School, at a grand rally later at Kenyenye Grounds. Live pictures from there, but we'll certainly be bringing you that story later on. Now, we cross over to a different one, and as Kenya joins the world in celebrating the International Suicide Prevention Day, concerns have been raised over the high number of deaths by suicide cases in Siaya County. Siaya County Police Commander Michael Mushere says that according to their records, the county recorded about 39 cases of suicide over the last 1 year between September last year to date. Charlene Adhiambo Otieno, the Executive Director of a Youth and Women Rights Organization, said that suicide cases in Siaya County are disheartening and requires an emergency response, and safe spaces should be established where such conversations can then be done.
From the figures that we have for the last 1 year, it's clear that the number of men are the majority when it comes to this incident of suicide, because our figures here indicate the percentage is 81%. And For women, it is 8% of the total, and most tragically, for children, the figure is 10%. Mental health and related issues is some of the thing that is at the moment on the rise in this country, and mental health obviously could be generated by a number of factors. One, we look at drugs and substance abuse. We've also had issues of unemployment. We had economic times and societal family disputes, particularly in relation to land in the county of Siaya.
It's a really urgent and a crisis that really needs emergency response, because the numbers keep going higher and higher and higher each and every time. And this therefore means that we really need to take action.
Now, Garissa leaders and environmentalists have urged the national government to allocate more funds to arid and semi-arid counties which are greatly affected by climate change. Vice Chairman of the Livestock Marketing Council, Dubat Ali Ame, said that communities in northeastern region have varied first-hand feeling for the effects of the climate change, which have taken a toll order on them. And he said that this was evident with the piles of animal carcasses strewn all over the roads, where livestock farmers continue to lose hundreds of the animals in huge numbers, leaving them destitute.
Garissa is one of the counties that is being affected by climate change, and ours is actually climate crisis because we are a pastoralist community and our livestock are dying. Currently, over 2.4 million animals have died.
Badiliko ya hewa, kama iko watu ambayo wameathirika ni jamii ya wafugaji. Sisi watu ya hii mkoa wa kaskazini mashariki, hata wakulima wetu ambayo wako karibu na mto Tana wanakuwa affected. Mvua mara nyingine haikuji, wakati inakuja mingi kuharibu mimea.
Now, West Pokot County has emerged as one of the counties in the North Rift region at risk with the highest number of those suffering from tuberculosis, that is TB, a disease caused by germs that are spread from person to person through the air. This is according to Code Excel Research, Training and Consultancy Limited. Addressing the media this morning at Kapenguria Hotel, the organization's officer Alex Muthui asked locals to be more vigilant, saying that after carrying out a research in collaboration with the Kenya Red Cross among the other concerned organizations, there is need for the government to put out measures in the county to prevent the disease. The West Pokot County Tuberculosis Coordinator, that is Taras, lamented that there is also need to sensitize locals, for a big number of them do not even understand the dangers of the disease.
We have 40% of people that have TB that have not been diagnosed in Kenya because of those barriers that we are talking about, the community rights related barriers, gender related barriers, and also issues of legal and policy framework environment that causes this barrier. So if you look at it and also the kind of environment, you know, we have mining here in West Pokot, we have areas that have come out as issues of illicit brewing, then those barriers are affecting access to such services, and we keep missing on those population that we want to be diagnosed and to be enrolled on treatment immediately.
Pokot, ukiangalia ugonjwa wa TB ama kifua kikuu, tuko na wagonjwa kiasi. Katika counties za Kenya, tuko katika zile county ambao tuko na wagonjwa wengi kiasi wa ugonjwa wa TB. Kwa mfano, mwaka wa 2021 tulikuwa na wagonjwa karibu 1500.
And now the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage, Penina Malonza, has been feted as the Tourism Woman of the Year by the Africa Public Service Conference and Awards. This achievement comes a day after the just concluded Africa Climate Summit that placed Kenya on a global pedestal on matters tourism and climate conservation. While acknowledging her award, CS Malonza has vowed to streamline the tourism sector to a higher bar in the global ranking.
A few years ago, we discovered that the oldest fossils of a man to have existed in this continent was found in a place called Turkana. But before we got to know, we realized also in Baringo, we also found some other fossils that were dated 8 million years ago. I want to believe that is the oldest fossils to have been discovered in the continent of Africa and in the world. The nearest is in Chad, who have discovered the earliest fossils dating 6 million years ago, just like the Turkana one. And the other nearest is in South Africa, who have also discovered 3 million years ago the oldest fossils of a man to have existed. What does this really tell us? If Kenya had the 8 million years oldest fossils, it only means that everybody in the globe came from Kenya. And therefore, Kenya is the cradle of mankind. So welcome home, welcome to your country, feel at home, feel at nyumbani, as we say.
Well, congratulations to her. And we're still on the tourism matters. Government has been urged to come up with ways to market Kenya as a one-stop destination for tourism. Professor Ray Mutinda, a lecturer at Murang'a University, who was speaking at a forum that brought together stakeholders from the tourism sector in Nairobi, raised concerns about how the country is losing on tourists as a result of not marketing Kenya abroad as a tourist destination. Mutinda further added that Kenya stands to benefit and increase the number of tourists if they embrace the use of technology.
Tourism in Africa remains generally uncompetitive on a number of fronts. One, that if we look at the region's share of international tourism receipts, here we're talking about the amount of money that comes to tourism. You remember the $1.5 trillion I talked about? Africa only controls around 5%, no, about 3% of that money. All the other money goes elsewhere. And in terms of the number of visitors who come to Africa, who travel globally, the international ones, it's only about 5% of the global tourists who actually come to Africa. Either we don't have enough products for them to spend on, or we attract the wrong guys.
Last year alone, 2022, Egypt received 11.7 million tourists. Kenya, we received 1.4. Tanzania received a similar number. Tourists have started going to Tanzania, avoiding Kenya. Why is that so?
I think in Kenya, we are lacking many things. No one has ever done what we call a master plan of the land use that are within the, the parks and the surrounding, and integrating it with the communities.
Now, as the youth continue to seek for jobs, a shining hope for communities, SHOFCO has announced a plan to enroll about 20,000 youth in Nairobi to TVET institutions, a move that will benefit unemployed youth, especially from poor backgrounds. And speaking at the Bomas of Kenya, where over 4,000 SHOFCO urban networking delegates were electing the Nairobi County Executive Committee member, that is Dr. Odede, said the move will help addressing rising unemployment in the city, adding that youth should be equipped with skills so as to employ themselves. The SAN elected leaders with representative community and, of course, interest and engage both national and county governments to bring development in the grassroots level as they are addressing pressing challenges.
Over 20,000 youths in Nairobi County to TVET, and so that's our big thing. We also, I also believe that for us to solve our problems, we have to.
Now, farmers in the coastal region have been urged to embrace new advanced hybrid maize varieties that have been designed to adapt to the hot coastal climate conditions while still producing high yields. The maize varieties PH01 and PH04 have been researched and improved to suit the climatic conditions at the coastal region to help the farmers contribute to the country's food basket. Kenya Seed Company Managing Director Sami Sisor has said that the new varieties are an improvement from previous breeds to survive the harsh weather conditions. The varieties can also do well in other hot climatic conditions such as Kisumu, and the farmers in those areas should embrace maize farming.
For example, ni eneo ambayo ni joto kidogo, kwa hivyo tunahitaji mbegu ambayo inashikana na environment ya area hii. Na ndio sababu vile tumeambiwa kuna Pwani Hybrid 1, kuna Pwani Hybrid 2, na kila wakati tukifanya research ya mbegu na mahali inapandwa, tunaangalia agronomical values, vile vitu ambavyo inatulenga ama inatusaidia kusaidia mbegu ya sehemu nyingine kwote ili tuweze kupata faida. Na kwa kila sehemu hii kuna masao ama duration time ambayo inachukua kumea, inategemea na sehemu zingine. Most of them inakuwa 3 months, wengine
ambazo ni mzuri kwa aina hii ya climate. Sababu kumekuwa na climate change kama vile ambavyo tumekuwa tunaendelea na ile kongamano iko Nairobi, pia kila mahali hata huko Mombasa tumeleta climate smart varieties ambazo zinaweza kujikimu hapa na ziweze kupea chakula watu wa huku Mombasa. So hapa Pwani tuko na aina ya mahindi.
Ukienda katika maduka ya stockist ama kwa duka zetu, kuna alama yetu ya kampuni, unaweza kuscratch na utajua kwamba hiyo mbegu ni genuine kama inatoka katika kampuni ya Kenya Seed. There's a code there you SMS, it's free. You can just SMS to prove that indeed.
And a community-based organization called West Gem Savings and Loaning in Siaya has embarked on a 3-year project that aims at enhancing livelihoods through sustainable agriculture in Siaya County. Speaking during the launch of the program, Fred Obayo stated that they want to promote climate change crops with a view to mitigate the effects of climate change across county, and added that during the project implementation period, they will work with farmers to establish agroforestry learning sites where demonstrations can be done to enlighten the public on benefits of embracing the production of climate change crops.
The program is going to have our key stakeholders involved in it, because we need today we needed their energy, their synergies and their complementarity for us to achieve all this. The project basically is going to reach out to 5,000 farmers directly, and indirectly 12,000 farmers. Our main focus area this time around, we had focused on groundnuts, and the groundnuts had a challenge of getting seeds. Remember, the viability status of groundnut, it's 21 days. So we are going to train our farmers to produce their own seeds. One key issue that we are going to do as we try to mitigate the effect of climate change, we are going to adapt to it. How do we adapt to it? We adapt to it by diversifying our cropping system. This project basically focuses on improving livelihood of women, youths and men. And we are going to use strategies like agroforestry learning sites. These learning sites, we are going to focus on people who can learn through seeing from what others are doing. We are going to do agroforestry where we grow crops, animals, and trees.
One of the things that they are doing addresses some of our outcomes on climate change issues. Some of the actions, some of the crops they are promoting, they are crops that are drought resilient. They are crops that when value added can bring money, and therefore making sure that the farmer reduces the vulnerability of our farmers in the event of climate change, climate variability.
Now, leaders from Machakos have said governors should be allowed to employ as many staff as possible, since county governments are independent entities as stipulated in the Kenya law under the Constitution. According to the former CAS for Labour, Jackson Musyoka, who spoke at a function in Machakos County slamming the EACC memo to county government warning them on employing many staff, Kala urged that the county government should be allowed to determine the number of employees needed in running a county affairs, and of course all the 47 counties have a county public service board.
Leo nimeona kwa magazeti kwamba ati EACC wanaonya governors kwamba ati hawana mamlaka ya kuajiri watu katika counties, wanawaekea capping, ati unaajiri watu wawili watatu. I want to state it here clearly that those actions are ultra-vires. Katika sheria za Kenya, katiba inasema kwamba the national government na county government are completely independent na kila mmoja anafanya kazi through mutual respect and consultation. Kwa hivyo EACC waelezwe for as long as provisions of section 59 of County Government Act zimefuatwa, whereby the County Public Service Board has been consulted, governor akona uhuru wa kuajiri watu ambao wamekuwa approved.
All right, and we take a different one. The Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service, Felix Koskei, blames corruption for poor service delivery and underdevelopment at the level of the devolved units. Let's take a look at that.
Corruption has permeated all aspects of the society to the extent that it is normalized, and citizens, businesses, and public entities even nowadays factor it into their daily expenses and budgets. The evidence and painful impacts are costly and out there for everyone to see. You can see poor quality infrastructure, you can see insufficient health services, you can see inadequate social security systems, you can see unplanned, stalled, and abandoned projects. You can see phantom projects that exist only on paper or in people's minds. Money has been spent, there is nothing on the ground. Money has been spent, the infrastructure is not functional. Money has been spent, and you get inadequate social security system. We have to act. There is urgency for all individuals, offices, and institutions charged with management of public resources to act and stem the tide of corruption and mismanagement. History will judge us very harshly if we do not act now. In a world that has become so interconnected with unprecedented competition for resources, we run the risk of sabotaging our own development and the well-being of future generations.
Well, I should tell you that we're getting sporty, and organizers of the Super 8 Football League held Vicential celebrations to mark 20 years since the inception of the league, which was founded back in 2003. The celebrations granted an opportunity to reflect on a remarkable milestone of 20 years in the promotion of grassroots football and youth empowerment. Speaking during the event, Extreme Sports founder and chief executive Hussein Mohammed reflected on the memories, the friendship formed throughout the league, and of course the unforgettable experiences that have made Super 8 an integral part of Kenya's sports history, hinting at the return of the league in 2024 with the incorporation of potential partners who have expressed willingness to support grassroots football.
Here to appreciate the Super 8 clubs, but also the Super 8 family as we celebrate 20 years of grassroots football. I want to thank all the participants, all the sponsors for the great job that they've done, to the champions of the last season who are Melta Kabiria from Kawangware. We have had our ups and downs, but finally we were able to have this event. It's a celebration, of course, that we will go on with for a period of time. We are hoping that there'll be bigger, greater things in the near future. It's a very exciting period for sports, especially for football. I'd like to also thank the Cabinet Secretary of Sports, Ababu Namwamba, for making it clear now that there'll be football elections coming up. We definitely need to revitalize or to sort of overhaul that particular sector. We have the determination to make sure that our young people achieve their dreams, and we will do everything in our power as Extreme Sports to continue supporting communities, to continue supporting our local clubs, and to ensure that our youth reach the optimum.
Well, in the same breath, the Extreme Me Sports founder, and that is Chief Executive Officer Hussein Mohammed, has hinted on contesting for the FKF presidency in February next year's election. Hussein is also, or has been, leading the Super 8 tournament over the years, playing a key role in the development of the game, as well as having success stories where the tournament has produced some of the country's football players of repute. Speaking during the celebrations of the 20th year or the 20 years of Super 8 League, Hussein stated that he intends to structure his manifesto on 3 pillars, which include the past, the present, and the future.
To structure my manifesto on 3 pillars: the past, the present, and the future. For the past, I want us to start recognizing former players and former administrators. We cannot develop, we cannot move forward if we don't know where we've come from and if we don't take action about it. A lot of our sportsmen and women are languishing in abject poverty. When we come to the present, we have to change how we do things. We have to adapt good practice from all over the world, and we will structure our league, restructure all our leagues to be competitive and to be very rewarding. For you to be able to monetize or to commercialize football, the leagues have got to be structured in a way that they are not only attractive, but also lucrative for the players.
And Siaya County Chapa Dimba football finals between Ambira High School and St. Peter's Wangari Secondary School ended prematurely after much official complained over insecurity. Center referee Kevin Amol led a team of officials in walking out of the pitch with barely 10 minutes remaining after fans invaded the pitch, protesting his decision to give a direct red card to a player from Ambira. His decision saw the game stop for some time as Ambira High School players and some supporters protested amid plea from the organizers for non-players to leave the pitch. The tournament aims at transforming young people's lives by giving them a platform to showcase and nurture their talent.